everybody, and a very warm welcome to Crafters TV. My name's Ben Mosby. Thanks for joining us. Hope your weekend's going well. We are here for another one of our fantastic craft-alongs. I think I can still say award-winning, can't I? Even though it was a little while ago, because you never lose an award, do you? So I'll go with that. Our award-winning show, Craft Along, where you have the ability to be able to craft along with us in real time. Now, on a lot of the shows that we do, we're sort of tight for time, and demos can be a little bit quick, but this one done in real time. So if you've already got the goodies that we are crafting along with, these brand new fantastic pads, and of course the everyday number of stamps, you can craft along with us. If you haven't yet got them, you can pick them up during the show and then craft along at a later date, because of course this show will always be there for you, whether you're watching it on Facebook or indeed on YouTube. So it is a win-win. I will take you through the product in detail in just a few moments' time and give you all the details as far as picking it up is concerned. But let's say hello to the lady who's providing the inspiration and leading the craft along. It is the one and only Lily Fletcher. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm looking forward to this craft along.
Yeah.
I love a craft along. I love being able to share with you that project from start to finish, so you can see every single stage, the matting, the layering, the die cutting, every single part of that project to create that finished card. Now, it is all about those fantastic everyday numbers. I adore those, but I'm going to sneak in one of our latest launches as well in terms of the fabulous Nature's Garden honeysuckle paper pad. So I hope you can craft along with us, whether you're going to be crafting along now or maybe you're going to be sitting back and re-watching at your leisure, however you choose to craft us. It's so lovely to have your company on this lovely weekend.
Absolutely, yes. So we are obviously pre-recorded, but we will have one of our social superstars in the chat. So if you do want to chat amongst yourselves, you can do, or indeed ask any questions. I'm sure they'll be more than delighted to help you out. The deal, if you want to pick it up, is on your screen. Here it comes. Everything that you need there, £48 or $60 for the Showstopper collection, which is both of the new pads and the numbers and the stamps as well. I'll take you through those in just a few moments. Shall we get the recipe list up first, do you think?
Absolutely. Let's have a little look at what we're going to need to create this finished project. So we are going to be creating a first birthday card here, as you can see on that image on that top left hand side. But what you're going to need to create this is, of course, you'll need your everyday numbers stamp and die set. That is very much the star of this show. You'll need your butterfly kaleidoscope stamp and die set as well, your honeysuckle 12 by 12 inch paper pad, your gold A4 luxury cardstock pack, some smooth white 12 by 12 inch cardstock, A5 heavyweight acetate, waterproof ink pad in the flagstone colourway, and your Roaring 20s sequin pack. You're also going to need, as always, your Gemini 2 die cutting machine, a magnetic stamping platform, pair of scissors, pokey tool, all-purpose glue, tacky glue, red liner tape, and of course some foam tape or some foam pads. That's everything you're going to need to create this craft along project.
Going to be fantastic. We'll give you opportunity to pick up all these bits and pieces if you haven't yet. If you haven't got the collection, let me show you it. I'll break with protocol and show you the hardware first. Yeah. Keeping you in the suspense for those paper pads. But this is just brilliant, isn't it? If you haven't yet got a set of numbers within your crafty stash, then you need to be picking this up, because it is all about the personalisation, all about being able to use these numbers for a whole host of different things, not just birthdays, of course, your anniversaries. There was chat when we actually launched these about some people potentially using these to number up their bins.
Ooh,
good idea,
what
right?
A good idea.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, I love my pink and I love my leopard print.
Yeah.
The Sarah Signature Wild at Heart, the special effects pad. I wonder if I get a couple of them on my bin.
Leopard print numbers on your bin?
Leopard print numbers. No one would be nicking that bin. No, that's Lily's bin. There'd be no doubt there.
Yeah. And you've got to have numbers on your bin, haven't you, these days? Because anyone else have that in their neighbourhood? Like neighbours who nick your bin?
Absolutely. When I bought my house, I had to pay a lot of money for that bin.
Yeah.
With it being a new build. It didn't come with a bin.
No.
I moved in, I was like, there's no bins. They're like, yeah, you need to buy your bins. So yeah, I've spent good money on those bins. I don't want somebody nicking them, quite frankly.
Yeah. So if you're a bin nicker, shame on you.
Shame on you. Get some numbers on your bins, they won't get nicked.
Yeah. Numbers on your bin. Don't worry about making cards, just get these to put numbers on your bin. What I also love with this as well is you've got the dies there to be able to make your own little cake stand if you wish, and dies to be able to create your own little candles with too, which I think is a super touch. I loved it when Sarah was making these as well on the launch. She was using the little numbers as little candles. You know, that you can buy when you get to my age, you wouldn't have like 45 candles on a cake, would you? Because you'd have to call the fire brigade. So you buy like the 4 and the 5 in the wax, and then they are little candles that you can put in your cake. Anyway, you've also got your stamps there as well. So you've got all of your ordinals. Who was it she was saying on the launch show as well that one of the American presenters on HSN thought, you know, that's obviously for like 41st birthday, or they thought that was street and road.
Or it could be saint.
Or so it could be saint.
It could be, yeah.
But obviously you've got, you know, 21st, 23rd, 22nd, 24th, again, and then all of your different sentiments in there. So you don't look a day over 50. Look who's turning 35 on your birthday, and loads more. So those are your stamps and your dies in there. Then the papers themselves. I mean, I'd be interested to see which is Lily's favourite here. Ooh. Each and every time I look at these pads, like I'm holding this one now, which is called your floral scrapbook. I mean, the level of detail, the layering that you've got in here is just incredible. And I flick through this one and I go, oh, this is my favourite of the two. But in a minute, I'll pick up the Meadow Garden and then I'll go, no, actually, I think that's my favourite of the two. This is an absolutely exquisite paper pad, isn't it, Lily?
It's just gorgeous. If you ever want to create that sort of like mixed media, altered art look, but maybe you're not confident, maybe you've not got all the paints, all the gessos, all those different waxes and amazing mediums that a lot of mixed media artists use, then this paper pad is actually going to give you that layered look, but just in one single flat sheet. It really does look dimensional. You look like you've got all that texture on there, but it's just a printed sheet. It looks incredible. Uncoated as well means that if you do want to add further finishes, maybe it's more inks, maybe you want to be adding your spritzers, your stencils, anything like that, of course you can do that as well.
So what I love about this as well is like all of the different layers in here, like you've got stamps, you've got script, you've got musical notation. They've even incorporated Scrabble in here. I've got a feeling this is going to be Debbie Fisher's favourite pad of the future. But that is a good point, actually. You probably couldn't take this in the bath, but she can still take a Scrabble board there, can't she?
Well, I mean, if you can get some sorts of varnishes that are waterproof, pop some of that on it, take it in the bath. Why not?
There you go.
Choice is yours.
There you go. And doesn't it really nicely, I think this is a great page shape, doesn't it really nicely cut up into like 6x6s if you want as well? Yeah? Yeah? So that's your favourite, right? But is it your favourite? Because then also in the bundle, you're going to get, the most beautiful floral meadow pad. It is absolutely stunning. There is a floral meadow that I would like to skip through. What about you?
Well, I would, but my hay fever certainly wouldn't want me to. But I would do it. I would definitely do it, that's for sure. Love this paper pad. It's going to complement the other one absolutely perfectly, but I'd say this one is a little bit brighter with those really lovely poppy little pops of colour in there. Floral scrapbook, maybe a little bit more vintage, but like I say, use them alongside each other. I'm just looking at some of those and I'm thinking fussy cut. Fussy cut some of those elements out, really go to town, maybe even decoupage some of those elements back onto the sheet underneath, and you're going to get the most amazing layered creations. But look at those. Think of all the dies you've got, all the stamps you've already got in your crafty stash. Maybe you've got other Nature's Garden collections where you've run out the paper pads. This is going to work hand in hand with so many items we've brought you in previous years.
Absolutely stunning. All of that you're getting, both pads and all of your stamps and dies for just £48 or $60 if you're platinum. Also, don't forget, if you are brand new and you're thinking about shopping for the first time, make sure you join up to Club Inspire, and that price in the purple boxes there will be your price, 20% off your first order. All right, let's get into it then. Here we go, Lily. It is over to you.
Oh, I'm excited for this one. I absolutely love these stamps and dies. We could have just brought you the numbers 0 through to 9. That would have been fabulous in itself, but I love the fact that we've got all those additional dies and the stamps as well, which give it that really fun factor for all of your projects. Now we're going to start off by creating our own card base. We're going to create a 6x6 inch card base. So if you do prefer to buy pre-made card bases, then absolutely just grab yourself a 6x6 inch white card base and you are good to go. But for this one, we're going to create our own. So what we've done is we've started off with a 12x12 inch piece of that smooth white cardstock. We've just chopped it in half, so that gives us a piece that measures 6 inches by 12 inches on the length. And just take your scoreboard. I've got a rather large, unwieldy one here, but it can just be a smaller one if that's all you've got in your crafty stash. I have to say, it doesn't even fit on the desk. It's hanging over the edge, but we're a crafter on the edge, so to speak.
A crafter
on the edge.
I think we're all on the edge, aren't we?
On the edge, yeah. Crafter on the edge. Here we go. Let's score down at 6 inches. That's halfway down on our score line there. And that's going to create us our 6x6 inch card base. I have to say, I do prefer to actually create my own card bases from scratch rather than buy the pre-bought ones. But of course, you do have that choice when it comes to your crafting. It is completely up to you. So that's our card base, all done and good to go. I tend to favour these days creating top fold, that tent fold. And when we talk about tent fold, all that means is that fold is at the top. When we talk about a side fold or a left fold, all that means is the folds on that left-hand side. And I tend to use that fold at the top, but of course that choice is yours as ever. So that's our card base. Then let's start to work on some mats and layers. Bringing in our fabulous large guillotine, and let's just pop our arm out.
Oh, yes.
Pop your
Sounds
arm
painful,
out.
that, doesn't it?
Gosh, yeah.
Well, it is painful, I know from experience.
Yeah, you pull a little guillotine, pop your arm out.
Oh, ow.
Oh, it's all right, little guillotine. And then we're going to take a piece of our gorgeous gold glitter card, and that's from that luxury gold cardstock pack. It is so super smooth. Usually with glitter cards, I wouldn't really want to be stroking it, I'll be honest. I really don't like that feel of that gritty texture, but this is really lovely, super smooth. As we'll see a little bit later on in the demo, we will actually be die cutting this. And it does die cut like an absolute dream. Now our card base was 6 inches square, so we're just going to go 1/4 inch smaller for this, which means it's going to be 5 3/4 inch square. Save these pieces, we'll be using those a little bit later on. And then our next layer down for this one, we're actually going to go in with that gorgeous paper pad from that Nature's Garden honeysuckle. You can see you've got all those beautiful florals in there, of course, the honeysuckles. You've got those cute little bees, which of course you could be fussy cutting out for that extra little bit of detail. You've got all those layers in the background. It looks like almost like faux sort of gold foiling. You've got what looks like paint marks, paint sort of brush strokes. You've even got the honeycomb in there. So much gorgeous detail within just this one sheet of the 12 by 12 pad. And we're going to cut this one down to 5.5 inches square. So once again, it's going to be 1/4 inch smaller than the next layer up. Tend to always go in with that doesn't look quite right. Have I cut that one down? Let's have a look. That should be 5 3/4. There we go. 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Next one down, 5.5 by 5.5. And I do favour my smaller mats and layers, that 1/4 inch increment. I think it gives you that really sort of that look of finesse to your projects by having that lovely thin mat and layer all around the edge. It's going to give you that really stylish and elegant look and feel. So that's our first set of mats and layers.
Yep.
Next up, we're going to bring in another sheet of that same gorgeous 12 by 12 inch paper pad, but this time, instead of using that front side, we're going to go for the B side, which is basically that same design as that front. We've just got less layers, so it's like the background. We've pushed that image back and we're using those background layers without all the detail on the top. I absolutely adore this. I mean, you could be really going to town with this, bring out some of your maybe gilding flakes and glitters and actually highlighting that faux sort of gold flecking even more if you so choose. So let's cut this one down to 4 inches square. So this is going to be our main topper for our actual card. So that's going to be 4 by 4, just like so. And then we need, of course, some mats and layers to go onto this one. So using some of those scraps of gold cardstock that we saved just a few moments ago. Next layer up, 1/4 inch larger, means it's going to be 4 1/4 inches. So 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And then those two are going to sit together perfectly. Now at this point, this is going to be layering onto our card base just like so, but by having the gold directly onto that pattern, it does get a little bit lost, and we want to sort of mimic and echo that first set of mats and layers. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this one and we're going to layer it again onto another piece of white to keep that design flow between the two sorts of corresponding mats and layers. So this one, once again, 1/4 inch larger, is going to take us up to 4 1/2 inches by 4 1/2 inches. And then just find your 4 1/2 line. And something I absolutely love about our guillotine that perhaps you might not find with other guillotines is quite often they'll have a groove or a printed line on there at the 1/2 inch, but often it's just a little notch at the top for the 1/4.
Yeah.
Love the fact that with ours you've got that that groove, that indentation for every 1/4 inch, and the fact as well that it's actually sort of imprinted in rather than just printed means that you're not going to have those lines rub off, which is what can happen with some of your other guillotines.
Yeah.
If it's been printed on, I'm not being funny, it gets rubbed off. So it's brilliant that that's actually engraved into your fabulous guillotine as well. So if we go back to what I was just showing you a moment ago, we've got our card base with our 2 mats and layers. Of course, white card base, gold card, and then we've got our pattern paper. If we had a little look at what we had before, popping our gold directly onto there gets a little bit lost, but let's bring in that magic white layer, and when we bring that in, that really does make a difference, just like so. Now a couple more mats and layers that we need to do is just a piece of our white multi-purpose cardstock. We're going to cut this one down so it's a little bit smaller than that 4 inches. So let's go for 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and that's what's going to be visible behind our shaker. So we'll leave that to one side. And we do need a piece of acetate as well. We're going to cut this one down to 3 3/4 inches square. Now I do favour my heavyweight acetate. We do, of course, do our heat resistant as well, which is, of course, ideal if you want to do any of your heat embossing and stamping onto your acetate. But for anything like this, when I'm creating my shakers, I usually go for my heavyweight acetate, which I find the best way to go. Now we're going to do a little bit of matting and layering. We're not going to mat and layer any of these pieces just yet because those are going to be die cut into a little bit later, so I'll leave them to one side. I'm trying to make sure that I can actually see where my acetate is, but it's definitely there. I've definitely cut it. It's one of those, the amount of times that I cut my acetate and I'm like, I'm sure I've cut my acetate. I need to stick it down now, but I can't find it. So you go and cut another piece of acetate, you stick it down, and the next thing you know...
And you find it straight away.
You find it, yeah. It just takes that little bit of a glint. It needs to like sort of... glint at you the way it catches in the light, but if it's a dull day and the sun is not shining, you've not got studio lights or whatever, it can sometimes be quite difficult to see your acetate. It is a pesky little beast, the old acetate. So going in with my Collal all-purpose, and this is where it always gets a little bit controversial, because of course we are using a specialist cardstock in our gold glitter now.
You're not using the right glue.
Well, most people will say to you...
I'm telling Leanne.
Uh-oh, is she in today? Oh! So most people will tell you, and Leanne included, will say if you're using a coated cardstock, so if it's your glitter card, your mirror card, your Centaur pearl, anything like that with a coating, you need to use your tacky glue. Okay? Does Lily listen? Does she heck? Lily uses her all-purpose. Now, the reason why some people will recommend to use your tacky glue instead, it's not because your all-purpose isn't strong enough, because you guys at home will know that you use this glue. It is super strong. When it dries, it actually sets like concrete. We always say it's that super, super strong. So it's not a case that this is not strong enough. The reason why people recommend to use your tacky glue instead is because this isn't a PVA, this is a solvent-based glue. And what this will do is if it gets onto coated surfaces, it will actually strip off that coating. And so it will remove that gold, and it doesn't look too nice. So all that means for us as crafters, what we need to do is if we are using our all-purpose glue, we need to be a little bit careful. Don't get overzealous. Don't add a load of glue to the very, very edge and risk that glue sort of squishing out the edges. As long as it doesn't squish out the edges and go onto that gold cardstock, you are absolutely fine. I was going to say you are golden, but then there was too much gold in that sentence.
Golden.
But just make sure it doesn't squish out the edges. And if it doesn't, it will set perfect. It will be strong. It's not going to drop off in 10 minutes time. It's going to be stuck there fast. But do just make sure you don't add any glue around the edges. If you find you are quite often a little bit over enthusiastic, shall we say, with the gluing, and you have that glue squish effect, then I would recommend the tacky. So there's my explanation. I hope I have explained myself adequately as to why I go.
You do you, Lily. That's the main thing.
I am. That is for certain. I'm certainly a crafter that likes to craft to my own rules, shall we say?
That's it.
Now,
she's a crafting rebel.
Oh,
a
gosh,
rogue, some would say.
I'm a rogue. I'm a crafting
rogue. A lone
rogue.
wolf in the world of craft.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh dear. Right, before I get myself into more trouble, let's do something that hopefully won't get me into any trouble. I'm sure I'll manage it somehow, though. Let's get into a little bit of die cutting. So, we're going to create a first birthday card.
Aww.
How cute is this? I love these numbers. They are a very readable font. They're not really flouncy or floral or anything like that. They're that lovely, solid design, and that's going to make them ideal for shaker cards, which is what we're going to create here. Sometimes when you've got the really squirrely script sort of font, as much as I love that sort of style, it doesn't always work perfectly for your shakers when you're actually using the aperture rather than that physical die cut piece. So all we're doing is we're taking our die, we're positioning it onto the centre, centralising it left and right, but having more of a gap at the bottom, because that's where we're going to pop our cake stand. Now, so often we say to you, try and tape onto the waist, but unfortunately, because we're actually using the aperture, using the waist, we can't actually tape onto the waist. So do take a little bit of care with your low tack tape onto that. And then while we die cut that, let's get a few more of our pieces die cut all in one go. And that's the beauty of using your Gemini machine. If you've got the larger plates, you can actually run several through all in one go. These dies are perfect though if you've only got the smaller die cutting machines. They will go through those smaller plate sizes too, which is brilliant. So I'm hoping I've got enough cardstock here. Oh yeah, I've got a few scraps. I've got scraps left, right and centre. You know, I'm like for saving scraps. I can't stand throwing cardstock away. There's nothing worse. So we're going to go in with our cake stand.
Okay.
So we're going to cut that from some of our gold glitter card. Now, so often in the past, the thought of cutting and die cutting a die so intricate from your glitter card, you sort of be like, no way, that's daft. There's no way you're going to get that level of detail. But the beauty of this cardstock, it is such high quality. You've got that lovely non-shed glitter effect on there. it means that you're going to still get that lovely detailed die cut effect, even though it is an intricate die.
I think it's a great touch having that little cake stand in there, and then the ability to be able to make all your candles.
I love it. It's
really
just
like
so
that.
cute. Of course, we could have brought you a lovely set of numbers, and that would be fabulous, but we're including the cake stand, we're including the banners, the candles, the little flames for the candles, even the wicks for the candles.
Yeah.
I mean, how fabulous is that? How often have you seen a set of dies where you even get a wick for the candle?
Yeah.
I mean, wow. It is absolutely fabulous. I have to say, when I first used these dies, I didn't know what the wick was. I was like, what is that die? And I was looking at the, luckily, I mean, our packaging is clean. I will just quickly show you the packaging because I think our packaging is absolutely fantastic. You've got the inspiration on there. You've got one sample on the front by our fabulous Nicole and a couple more on the back. And it was by looking at this, I was like, ah. So this little die here, I was looking at that thinking, what is that? I was thinking, ribbon threading, what is that all about? Those are the wicks. So you can cut 4 wicks at once. You can see there on the packaging, you can see the wicks in action. So if you did what I did and was like, what is that? What am I using that for? Why have I got some ribbon threading dies? They are your wicks for your candles. Now, because we did have to tape onto what is not our waste, just do take a second to ease that back nice and gentle, and you'll make sure you don't rip your cardstock. And that's our aperture all done and good to go. So do pop your dies back on your sheets. I would definitely recommend for dies like these, when you've got an awful lot of dies within the pack, I'd definitely recommend popping these on a magnetic sheet. That's just going to make sure that you don't lose any of them and they are nice and secure. Of course, you've got what is now the waste for this card, but you could be saving that for another card, maybe even decorating the inside of the card or the envelope. You can see here, even with that super decorative die, that intricate detail, that's cutting beautifully through that
Really
gold mirror card. Isn't that absolutely amazing to have that level of detail on there? It's gorgeous. So there's that one. We've cut a couple of our banners as well. These are going to be super useful for lots of different projects, not just these particular numbers. You could be using these with lots of different sentiment stamps that you've got in your stash already, I'm sure. Very useful to always have our banners to pop your little sentiment stamps onto. So we've got a couple of those in our gold there. Just making sure that we've got all our layers good to go. We're going to cut a couple from our white now. So we're going to cut one of the cake stands from white. So let's just cut our multi-purpose card down to size. We'll cut our cake stand from white, just so that we can do a little bit of drop shadowing. You know, I do love a good old drop shadow. And then we are going to cut a couple more of the banners so that we can actually stamp onto these ones. So let's cut both of those for some multi-purpose. And then of course we do also need our little candles. And I love the fact that you can cut 4 at once with this die. So it means even though we're only using 1 on this particular project, I can save those extra 3 for a future project. It just makes it a lot quicker when we're crafting, rather than having to cut 1 at once. Maybe you're as old as 45. I mean, can you imagine? And you need a couple of candles for the 2 numbers.
I would actually, I mean, because you guys know, right? Obviously, this is pre-recorded. So at the time of recording, I'm not 45.
He's not 45.
Ha! Still 44.
He's young. Well, yeah.
Still 44, but now we're in the future, so I am, but now I'm not. How does it feel to be, but not? How does it feel to be 45? I couldn't tell you, because I'm not.
See? You'll find out soon. You'll find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I just find once you get the other side of 40, things just start to creak a little bit more.
Well, don't worry, I've got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Cheeky.
You need to get the old WD-40 out to oil the joints. Although my joints creak so much, I'm now on the WD-50.
Oh dear. Are you on that one, the industrial strength, that when I had my problems with my door the other week, when I had the locks out? Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, I
your
couldn't leave the
shut,
house. I couldn't lock the door.
Yeah.
But he had like a special industrial strength one. It wasn't WD-40. I can't remember what it was. I think it was another couple of letters and numbers, but it was like a special like trade one. That's the one you need.
Yeah,
not
WD 100 XL super strength.
Yeah, whatever it was. That's what you're on.
Does nobody else creak first thing in the morning then? No.
No.
No, and you get up. Nicola, yeah. So your knees crack. How old are you? 28. Oh dear.
Cracking knees.
How old are you?
Absolutely cracking. Really? How old am I?
Yeah.
I am 24. I'll be 25 in June.
25,
there we go.
All those years
25,
ago.
I know.
I'm 20 years older than you.
Oh, depressing.
That makes me sad.
Oh, don't be sad. There's nothing wrong with being old, apart from the creaking.
I'm only 15 years older than Sam.
Well, it's better, but you know.
I'm the oldest man
In the world.
On the show. Not in the world.
Not quite. That
Not
might be
quite.
exaggerating it ever so slightly. Just a little bit, but you know.
The oldest man, the old man of craft.
Oh, I've just thought, though, you are the oldest man on CTV. Sorry about that.
Hang on a minute. Oh, yeah, Craig. It's Craig's 40 next year, isn't he?
I think so, yeah. So you've got a few years on him, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I'm not the oldest person on
No,
CTV,
but
though,
you're the
so
oldest
that's
man.
good. Who is the, I mean, we'll not say. Who is the oldest
I'm not
person?
sure, actually.
Oh,
Is it? Ooh.
I think
Well, it's either Debbie Fisher or Debbie Robinson. That's not giving anything
Lily.
away.
Oh,
Well,
no,
if it's not Craig, then...
Sheena.
Ooh.
Sheena.
Ooh.
Hasn't she got, she's just had a big birthday.
She has
hasn't
just had a big birthday.
Yeah.
See, and I'm not just saying this because she's about. I always think Sheena. I'm like, how are you that old? I hope
Yeah.
I'm doing as well as you at that age. Blooming
Yeah.
heck, Yeah, she probably doesn't have cracking knees either. She's.
I think all of our team are very, I think it's because they're all young at heart. You don't
Well,
ever
do you mean
think them
daft?
to be...
When we
Daft.
say young at heart, we're all a bit daft.
All a bit daft, yeah.
I think you have to be to craft. I think we're all a little bit
That's it.
crazy, aren't we?
What do they say? You don't have to be crazy to work here, but it helps.
Well, I think you do have to be crazy to
Yeah.
be at work here, but you know, there we go.
I think if you come in here and you're very straight-laced and serious, you're going to find it a very strange place to work.
Yes, I think you'll find it very stressful. See, it's funny because when I first came, everyone thought I was really quiet. Yeah, well, I kind of was, but
Yeah.
I'm not really. I think we all know by now I'm not
I
quiet.
think, yeah, you sort of
Definitely not quiet.
definitely come out your shell just a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Just a smidge.
I've been here nearly 3 years though now, you know. Be 3 years in September. It's flown by, absolutely
it?
flown.
Oh, so you joined a year after me then?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years in
Gosh.
September. Feels longer.
Oh, nearly 4 years for Nicola.
4 years for you, Nicola, isn't it? Yeah, nearly. When were you? The October, was it? No, November.
November. See, Nicola joined just after birthday, and I joined just before, about a month before.
See, Lily won what?
Well,
You won a magnum of champagne?
Well, it
What?
wasn't quite that. So what they had is they had a little like a sweepstake of, and we had to guess sort of like how many sales we'd make during birthday.
Ah.
And I didn't win. I think I came second.
Ah.
And I won a big bottle of champagne, but I don't drink, so I was like, oh, I don't
got
really
that
need
then?
this. I gave it to somebody in the trading team. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, I was like, this is brilliant, but unfortunately I don't drink, so kind of meaningless. But yeah. A lucky guess. But it won't be long before, what is it this year, 18th birthday?
19th.
19th.
Yeah.
Why do I keep saying 18th? I said 18th to someone the other day.
Definitely.
But yeah, ooh,
19 this
looking
year.
forward to seeing what we have lined up. It's going to be fun as ever. Definitely, we do love a birthday.
It'll be here before you know it.
I know, it certainly will. Right, back to the crafting. So we're just doing a little bit of stamping, and the beauty with these little banners is that these stamps will actually fit into these, so you can mix and match and choose the different stamps you want to pop inside of your different banners. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp up. So we're just inking up using our Flagstone waterproofing. I do like to actually stamp with my waterproofing, so I think it gives you that lovely crisp stamped impression. And the beauty of using your Flagstone means it's a little bit less harsh than black. Sometimes black can be a little bit harsh if you've not got black cardstock or black elsewhere in that design. Sometimes it can be a little bit sort of jarring on the eye to use black inks. That's why we're going with our Flagstone. And you can see that lovely crisp stamped image there. We've got our birthday girl, we've got our look who's turning. So you've got the ability to mix and match. It could be birthday girl, it could be birthday boy. And then of course you've got the ability to also create those other sentiments. It could be happy birthday on your birthday. I quite like the idea of, let's be a bit daft, but I do like a daft card. Time to celebrate again. Oh no, not another celebration. We have to party again. Again. So what we're just going to do now is we're just going to layer up. Remember we die cut our banners also from our gold cardstock, and all we're going to do just to give this a little bit more detail, that little pop of colour, is we're just going to drop shadow our gold underneath our multi-purpose, and that just gives it that little pop of gold underneath to make it stand out that little bit more, giving it that bit more detail. So let's add some of our tape pen on the back just for speed, using my tape pen, but of course you could be using your tacky glue, you could be naughty and using your all-purpose but we won't speak about that anymore before I get myself into any more trouble. And then we're just going to drop shadow our 2 lovely cake stands. With this one being a little bit more delicate, I am going to use my dotty tape pen on the back. I'm going to be good. I'm not going to glue directly onto the glass mat because I can't stand it when you've got a sticky glass mat.
Oof.
Oh, nothing worse. I'll tell you what, mind you, they'll tell you what is worse when you get glitter paste on your glass mat, because that stuff ain't coming off anytime soon.
Yeah, I noticed one of the Debbies, I think, recently, someone got glitter paste on the glass mat over there and, well, they'd left it there.
Yes, I did hear about that.
Scraping away.
It was left on a Friday night, and Tracy did tell me she came in on the Monday morning. She wasn't too pleased. Yes, so make sure you always clean your glass mat as soon as possible.
Either that or you'll be needing like a pneumatic drill to get it off.
Grief, yeah, can you imagine? I'll tell you something I've got stuck to my glass mat at home and I need to scrape it off. I've got a little bit of foam tape. As you do. A little bit of foam tape.
Ah.
Yeah, it's kind of like stuck solid now. But anyway, that is a different story. So what we've gone ahead and done is we've drop shadowed our 2 stamp sentiments, we've drop shadowed our cake stand as well, we've got our first lot of mats and layers done, we've got our little candle, our little flame good to go, and we've also got our shaker ready to be layered up.
There we go. Good time to perhaps have a little bit of a pause. Don't forget, if you want to pick up this collection, you can. Showstopper is the best way to go because you're actually saving a little bit more money by getting both of those pads and your stamps and dies as well for £48, $60. If you just want to pick up the individuals, I do believe at time of recording, everything is available for you individually as well on the website, so do have a look. It may well be the case, as it was when we launched these, that you decide that you want to get more paper pads to go alongside your Showstopper, but it's over to you. Right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, the completion of this project, but in the meantime, if you've got the stuff in your basket, let's give you opportunity to check out, and we'll meet you back here in about 3 or 4 minutes' time.
I like to get up, chill, relax, get a cup of tea, then get myself sorted. And if I'm presenter, I'll write all my notes. If I'm the demonstrator, I'll get my prep out, have another look at it, make sure that everything is the way it needs to be for the show, do the show. Then what I'll do is I'll grab something to eat. Then have another look at the sheets again, making sure the next show's all good to go. Then we do that show, tidy. I always like to make sure that the area is nice and tidy, either for myself the next day or whoever's in. Jump in the car, head home. I will quickly unpack what I need to unpack, and then I get on that sofa as quick as I can. As soon as we go live, I love that within our live shows, I always get the butterflies. As soon as we get that countdown in our ear that we're just going live, butterflies kick in, and within about 10-15 seconds, I'm going. Butterflies have gone, and we just enjoy the show. Early riser. Oh, shower in the morning. Tea. Oh, savoury breakfast. Masterclass. My mobile phone. Oh, anything with chicken. Currently, it is the weekend, Blinding Light, and it has been for about a couple of years, and I still love it. Apart from jumping in the car, chilling on the sofa, watching TV.
There he is, the haughty Scotty. Aye. We are halfway through, we're just over halfway through the craft along. Thank you for joining us. Pre-recorded show, of course, but hopefully you are chatting along to each other in the comments, and any questions you've got as well, I'm sure our social media superstar will be happy to answer those for you. Do kind of like a final recap on everything as we head towards the end of the show, but I know Lily's got more to be getting on with. So we've done the majority of our die cutting now. Is it just the construction part of things?
Yeah, pretty much. So we're going to start to build a shaker card. So for those of you that need a little bit of a recap, we'll just go through the stages that we've got prepped so far. So we started off with our 6x6 inch card base from our white cardstock. We've got our matting and laying with that beautiful Nature's Garden honeysuckle 12 by 12 pad onto some of our gold cardstock, and that's forming our card base. We've got a couple of our sentiments that we've cut, we've stamped, we've die cut that drop shadow as well. We've also got our little flame cut ready to create our candle. And then this is where we bring in our shaker. Now I'm keeping a beady eye on this acetate. It's there. You can't see it on the camera there. There it
Where?
is. It's there. Do you know what sometimes I do when I'm prepping my demos? I already put the red liner tape on the acetate so that I know that it's there. That is a good little tip. But just so that I can do this craft in real time, no red liner tape on this one. So we're just keeping an eye on that. We have got our piece that we've already die cut using that gorgeous number die, the number 1. Remember, we centralised it left and right, but we've got a slightly smaller space at the top there compared to the bottom so that we can actually pop our cake stand on a little bit later on. We do have a white piece which is actually going to form the backer. We've got a matten layer for our first layer in the gold, and our second layer is going to be white. The reason being that I've got this extra piece of white here, we're going to be using some gold sequins into our shaker. So if we had the gold directly behind, we wouldn't see the sequins too much, which is why we're going to add in our white piece there. Now I'm going to glue together these 2 mats and layers first off. These can be glued in readiness, so we're going to take some of our all-purpose glue and pop that onto the reverse. Now, if you are one of these people, if you were watching the earlier segment of this show, you will have heard my little confession about using my all-purpose onto my coated cardstock. But if you are one of those people that does favour the tacky glue to do that, you're fine with this because you're just gluing on the reverse. So you're not actually gluing it on the coated side. So you are definitely 100% okay with your all-purpose for that part. So that's our first couple of mats and layers. At this point, before I lose it, let's bring in our acetate, and that's going to go onto the reverse of there. I would recommend one of your strong tapes for actually gluing your acetate. I always find I never get a good result using any sort of wet glue. It doesn't matter how super strong that wet glue is. Our tacky glue is an incredible adhesive, and I use it for lots and lots of different surfaces aside from just my cardstocks. But I always find that I never get the result I want by using any sort of wet glue onto my acetate. So I definitely recommend a strong tape. Either going with your tape pens like I'm using here, or going with your red liner tape. Of course, we have the 3 different widths, your 6mm, your 12mm and your 3mm. So red liner tape is a super strong adhesive, so it will work perfectly. But because our tape pens are so super strong, they're going to work a treat too. Line that up over the back, then do just make sure you give that a little bit of a burnish to activate that glue to make sure that is grabbed and stuck firmly. So that's our acetate behind our shaker. We are going to create our shaker by using that piece behind. So what we need to do is we need to create that continuous wall of foam. Now, several different options for when you're creating your shakers. Lots of different 3D adhesives that we have over on the website. We do, of course, have our 3D foam tape, which is exactly what I'm using now. This is the one that's a little bit thinner than the other one that we have available. This one, when it's new, I call it the big wheel, because it is a big wheel. The big wheel, yeah. Oh. It is a big wheel.
Bring on the wheel!
Bring on the wheel, absolutely. The other one is a little wheel.
A little wheel?
Just a little wheel.
Ah.
I don't think we've got one in the studio.
Really, really little?
The little one. But this one is the big wheel.
Ah.
Not quite such a big wheel now as it's being used, but this one's brilliant for your shakers because it actually bends around curves. So if you've got some of the other numbers with curves to them, like your 6s or your 9s, you can actually pop this down and curve it around, which makes it fabulous for your shakers. It's nice and deep as well. It's about 3mm in depth, so that means if you are wanting to load up those shakers, then you can absolutely do so with a thicker depth.
Got to have a full shaker, haven't you? And what? I know you've got sequins there, but what else? I had a question about this the week before last. What else makes sort of good shakers?
Do you know what I always say? I had a time, when I first started crafting, you know, we go through phases of collecting certain things.
Yeah.
Now at the moment it's papers, as we all know, and ribbons and everything else. But anyway, when I first started crafting, I had a bit of a tendency to get a load of sequins and funny beads, and I look at the back of them now and I'm like, why did you buy this? It's naff, it's cheap, it's nasty. Oh. Yeah, I've got some really naff sequins. You know, ones that are like funny shapes, like butterflies. The sort of thing you give to kids. I always say, if you've got slightly naff sequins, pop them in a shaker, disguise them, they work an absolute treat. I'm not going to stick one of those on my cards, it would look a bit nasty. But pop them in a shaker and they look brilliant. So any sort of sequins that you've fallen out of love with that you don't love, they're going to be ideal. Little tiny beads, seed beads are brilliant. Seed beads work really nicely.
Seed beads?
Seed beads. Or do you not know what seed bead is?
Describe it to me. I probably
They're
do.
They're tiny little beads. They're like a donut, so they've got a hole in the middle. We usually use them in jewellery. Really, really tiny.
Yeah. They're called seed beads?
Seed beads, yeah. Yeah.
What? Seed beads?
Seed.
Oh, seed.
What do you think I said? Seed.
Sea, as in swimming in the sea.
No, seed as in
Oh,
like
seed
sesame
beads.
seed. Yeah, those work a treat. And because they've got a little bit of weight to them, they can sort of make a little bit, not quite like a maraca, but a little bit of a noise on the shaker, which is quite nice. As well, if you've got our sequin dies that we brought you, I want to say a couple of years ago now, those are going to be absolutely brilliant. Glitter, I love chunky glitter, but mix up those mediums. Don't just always use all sequins or all glitter. Mix them up, create your own concoctions, and they will work a treat.
Nice.
But yeah, I always say anything that you're not too sure on, I would say pop it in a shaker. But
That was your shaker masterclass.
Absolutely, Lily's shaker masterclass. What more could you want? But yeah, I don't know why I went through a phase of collecting really quite naff sequins. I think I probably saw them in shops. I thought, oh, that's shiny, that's pretty, I'll buy that. And I got it home. I thought, Lily, why have you bought this absolute garbage? Get it in a get it in a shaker. You'll be all right.
Absolute garbage.
Absolute blinking garbage.
Garbage.
Right, now, if you do struggle with your shakers, if they're a little bit small, you can see here we've got quite a small area. And something else to note is make sure that you pop your foam tape right up to the edges of that shaker. Rather than popping your foam tape right up to the edges of that piece of cardstock, that means that your sequins are free to go all over that area. By having that foam tape right to the edge of that aperture, it means that they've got that smaller area to actually move within, and therefore we're going to see more of those sequins. They're not going to be sort of straying off towards the other side where we can't see through that aperture. Now, if you're thinking, blimey me, this looks a little bit fiddly, trying to pick up all these sequins in your fingers, what you can do, and were we talking about this the other week? Feels like deja vu. We were talking about using a funnel for your shakers.
Funnel.
It was me and you, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we said about the funnel in the care kit.
Yeah, the
which then we
shimmer
found
spray
out was
care
out of
kit.
stock.
Oh, of course. Well, if you've got any sort of funnel, it can be just a cheapy funnel. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. Or if you do have the shimmer spray care kit, which has the funnel in, just pop a funnel at the top, pour them in, good to go.
Yeah.
Job done, super easy. But I'm being a little bit faffy here and just picking them up. Now, it's a little bit of a balance when it comes to your shaker cards. What you want is you want enough shaker in there that it doesn't look sad and empty and lonely. It's nothing worse than an empty shaker. It just always looks quite pathetic, I have to say, if you've not got enough in there. I used to be quite guilty of doing pathetic shakers. In case you've not noticed, I'm quite frugal. I used to think, oh, I don't need to add too many. And it just ended up looking pathetic.
Don't scrimp on the shakers.
Don't scrimp on the shakers. But the thing is, you need to make sure you've not got too many. Otherwise, if it's so full, it won't shake. So it is a little bit of a balancing act, but just make sure you have plenty in there, making sure that it's not going above the depth of that foam, making sure as well none of them are sticking to the edge of the foam and getting caught there. And then once you're happy with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of white cardstock, remember that we had a little bit earlier, just get your head over this, making sure that you're lining that over the top. Once you're happy that's aligned over the edge. If it is sticking over the edge a little bit, we can just trim that off afterwards. It's not a problem at all. Smoothing that down to make sure it's caught. I can see a tiny bit of that card, so let's just trim that off. I am very pernickety. I drive myself mad, so I can only imagine, can only apologise to you guys at home, can only imagine how mad I'm driving you as well, being so pernickety. But I'm exactly the same at home. I'm not going to pretend any different. But there we have created our shaker. I think that's a good concentration of shaker in there, I have to say. Quite proud of that one. Done quite well there. Nicola wants seed beads. Nicola, I'm going to have to...
Seed beads?
Seed beads. I'm going to have to...
Seed
beads, yes. Not like the sea, not like the ocean, like a seed, like a sesame seed.
Sesame seed. They're like little mini Cheerios, right?
They are, yes. They are very small Cheerios. Mouse Cheerios, we can call them.
Mouse Cheerios.
Mouse Cheerios.
Yeah, let's not call them sea beads or seed beads from now on.
Mouse Cheerios.
Mouse Cheerios.
Other
in your
brands
shaker.
are available. What do they call it? Quite a few.
Multi-grain hoops.
Multi-grain hoops, yeah. Mouse multi-grain hoop beads. Doesn't have quite the same ring to it.
No. They're not Cocoa Pops, Sam. What are you on about?
No.
We're talking about the round, small cereals.
I have to say I don't like them, but...
Cheerios?
Yeah, I don't like
I'm not a
them,
massive cereal fan, to be honest.
Oh, you're not? See, I love cereal, but I don't like Cheerios. They're a bit crap. Sorry, Cheerios. If you want to send me some free ones, I will eat them, but, you know, that's a different matter. Yeah,
I'd have like a bowl. I like a bowl of like the sort of special K with like some blueberries on and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I like the red berry ones are nice. With all the red berry, freeze-dried strawberries and all that in, yeah.
Yeah.
Big fan of granola, any sort of granola. Oh. But muesli's now.
No,
Muesli's like the poor relation. It's like eating sawdust, and because I don't have milk on cereal, it's very dry.
Do we eat meat? What? Yeah.
What?
You eat cereal dry?
I do.
Well, you definitely don't want to eat muesli then.
No. I always have done, yeah. I prefer it dry. Strange.
Really? Do you have it in a bowl then, or do you just eat it out of the packet?
I have it in a bowl.
What, and eat it with a spoon?
Yeah, usually. I'll be honest, I do confess to sometimes eating shreddies with my hands, you know. They're hand food. You can have them on a plate.
I've done that. The little like blueberry wheats that I get.
Oh, they're lovely.
Just picking and eating those.
Yeah, I do like those. They're like eating little biscuits, aren't they? Little filled biscuits.
Yeah. Why do you not have? What milk do you? What sort of milk do you normally have at home?
Soya milk.
Right. So why wouldn't you put that in cereal? Just not.
I just don't like soggy cereal. It's funny. I never have.
Just found out that Sam, our visiting mix today, used to eat ready breck dry.
Wow.
That's porridge oats, isn't it?
I have to say, as a child, I did try that once. I thought, oh, porridge oats look quite nice. I'll get a handful of these and eat these dry. Never again.
Sam,
Never again.
What is wrong with you?
A lot, quite clearly. You thought I was on eating dry cereal. That's another level.
The heck? Dry porridge oats?
Wow.
I mean, it explains a lot, really, doesn't it? It explains a lot. Nicola,
It does.
run away as far
Sorry,
as you
Nicola.
can.
Yes, wow. I thought I liked dry cereal, but that even I can't do that. Even I can't do it.
That is so weird.
That's next level, isn't it?
I mean, I'm thinking as a kid, like, so I used to eat, when my mum was making a spag bol, I used to like eating the dry spaghetti. Not too weird, right?
Yeah.
I also used to like, when, remember when you used to get was it Roundtree's jelly in the cubes?
Oh, yeah.
And I used to like eating that straight out of the packet. That's
Yeah,
not weird.
that's
I
fine.
also, right, I'm going to push the boat out here.
Yeah, go on.
You know, Smash?
Yeah, I do.
I used to eat Smash straight out of the tin. That's not weird. It's not as weird as eating ready breck dry.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten dried Smash?
I've never had Smash, I don't think.
For
No.
mash, get smash.
I'll be honest, I'm not a big fan of mash.
Oh, what?
School dinners scarred me.
Oh.
Yeah, scarred
Lumpy
for
mash.
life.
Lumpy cold mash at
Oh,
school.
yeah, I've just got flashbacks now with the lumpy gravy over the top. I thought, I'll put some gravy on it, that'll make it better. No,
No.
it didn't.
No.
But yeah, I'd much rather have a roast potato than mashed potato.
Oh.
Yeah, it's got to be done.
I love a bit of mash with a bit of nutmeg in it.
Bit of nutmeg?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a sweet spice.
No, nutmeg in your mash is beautiful.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, I don't
You
think.
should try it. Nutmeg's really, really nice. You should try that on your dry ready breck, Sam.
See, I do like nutmeg, but yeah, not on mash, I don't think. It's this
dear.
whole sweet and savoury thing.
Not that we'll be able to see the comments coming through, but please, I'll check back after this
Oh,
show's
gosh,
aired.
yeah, me too. They're going to be interested.
Yeah, what's weirder?
Mind you, we did have was it me and you that a few weeks ago we had the discussion about the raw rhubarb? Was it me and you?
I don't think it was.
Oh, I can't think who I was on with. I was saying about how I like to eat rhubarb raw. And everyone was like, that's not normal.
Yeah, I mean,
can't think
is that
what
not very tart?
It is, yeah. It's lovely. It does make you, yeah.
Yeah, what-
See, I like sour food. I do really like sour foods. But yeah, raw rhubarb.
Do you know what, this conversation's coming back because then I think I was telling you about the sour sweets that my kids like to eat, the
Oh, yes.
toxic waste.
Yeah, it was with you, because then we started talking about that. Yeah.
That is,
Maybe Nicola, you weren't there.
maybe,
There was one evening where we had Johnny in our ears, so it might have been. I can't think what his opinion on the whole raw rhubarb situation was. Probably was not in agreement. I have to say, after that show, though, I did have a few people message me and say, "Yeah, Lily, it's all right. Raw rhubarb is all right." And I was like, "Thank you. It's not just me." Yeah. So Sam's thinking I'm going to get a lot of messages about ready break. Sam, no, not that far.
You'll get you'll get no messages about.
None whatsoever.
Yes.
Do
You'll
you
just
know
get
what?
letters saying, "Sam, you are very strange."
Sam, we will help you out to get
Yes.
therapy. Just we will help you.
Cease and desist eating dry ready break. What is wrong with you?
Oh dear, a lot clearly. Well,
Oh, dear.
do you know what? If we were all the same, then life would be very boring, wouldn't it? Very boring indeed. We'll go with that one, shall
Dried
we?
ready break. That is Sam's
ready break.
idea of a great breakfast.
Absolutely. Oh dear. Isn't it funny the turns that we take on these craft alongs? How did we get onto that conversation? Do you know what? I can't even remember for the life of me.
Dried ready break
W-
because
was it
you were
cereals?
talking seed beads.
Seed beads,
Cheerios,
yes. Oh, it all
milk.
makes sense.
Don't use milk with cereal.
Yes,
I
yeah.
eat dry ready break.
Yeah.
Weird.
You know, it's a logical sort of pathway that we've gone down there,
Can
isn't
you hear
it?
him backing out now going, oh, no, I used to.
Used
It's
to.
been 20 years.
Yeah, right,
Too
20
late, you
minutes.
did it. And we'll always remember.
His poor taste buds probably will. Probably scarred for life. Like eating sawdust. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear.
Well, while we've been having all these very enlightening conversations,
cutting
so far,
butterflies.
we've just been doing a bit of die cutting.
Yeah.
Just doing a little bit of die cutting. Now, this has become one of my most favourite, I was going to say die sets, but it's also a stamp set as well. One of my favourite stamp and die sets of recent times. This is our fabulous butterfly kaleidoscope. Now you are getting tons and tons, literally a kaleidoscope of butterflies here within this die set. You've got different shapes, different sizes, so if you just want that little finishing touch, that little accent like we need here, then this is going to be ideal. Or if you want to create your full finished project literally festooned with butterflies, then this is going to be ideal as well. Beautiful detail on these, cut them from lots of different materials, maybe from white cardstock and then colour them or ink them yourself. But here what we've done is we've taken the same smaller butterfly, we've die cut a couple, you can just about see those there. We've die cut a couple from our white cardstock, our multi-purpose, and then we're just going to die cut a couple from our gold cardstock. I'm going to do a little bit of drop shadowing. As always, I have to say it's one of those techniques that's a little bit addictive, I find, drop shadowing. You kind of want to give absolutely everything a drop shadow. It is so effective, but very, very easy to do. All you need is those two different colours of cardstock. Doesn't matter what colours you want to go for. Quite often we think of going for maybe our metallics or our black cardstock as that lower layer, but it can be literally any colour cardstock at all that you drop shadow in, and it's just going to give you that little bit of pop, that extra bit of detail, that extra bit of interest, and it's going to make that item, whatever it might be, whether it's a sentiment topper like we did with our banners, whether it's a butterfly die cut like we've got here, whatever you're choosing to drop shadow, it's just going to give it that little bit more impact, that little bit of emphasis that's going to make it stand out from your card that little bit more. So then we're going to die cut our second one. I absolutely adore this gold cardstock. It is just absolutely stunning. To be able to die cut this level of detail, I mean, these butterflies are so, so fine. Can you imagine, you guys at home, I know a lot of you have been crafting for many, many years, more than my 24 years, which it can be said. But if you guys were around at the start of die cutting, dies so clunky they were. They're very basic, yeah, let's be said.
And hardly any detail, not
there was
the detail
no
we
detail
get now, right?
whatsoever. I mean, the first sort of dies that we had, they were basic shapes. They were brilliant. I mean, we loved them because we'd never seen anything like that before. And we've never had that sort of accessibility within craft, but there was no sort of finesse to them whatsoever. So sort of the journey that die cutting has come on over recent years is absolutely incredible. So to be able to get dies which are this detailed and get this sort of effect at home yourself from your die cutting machines is absolutely incredible. I have to say, I remember my first set of dies that I bought, aside from my the ones that came with my die cutting machine, it was a set of nesting dies, as we all did, and it had a slight, I don't even want to say a scalloped edge to it because it wasn't even a scalloped edge, it was like a slight wave to the edge, and that was like, oh wow, this is fancy. It's got a wave to the edge. There was 3 dice in the set, and it was about 25 quid, and I was delighted. I thought I had a bargain. But yeah, absolutely love die cutting. It really has transformed the way that we're able to craft at home and the results that we're able to get. Doesn't matter if we've been crafting for 24 years or 24 minutes, we can all get the same sort of effects when you're using your die cutting machines, especially if you've got a machine like the Gemini and you've got that incredible pressure with that Gemini 2 machine. Or any of the Gemini family, whether you've just got a small mini or midi to start off with, as you embark on that die cutting machine journey, you're still going to get those incredible results. So just drop shadowing the two underneath each other. I'm only adding adhesive to the body. I just want the wings to be lifted up and flying free a little bit for that extra bit of movement and dimension onto there. And then we're going to do exactly the same to the other one, just shaping that with my fingers. If you wanted to add even more shape onto there, go in with your ball tool and your shaping mat, and that's going to give that even more depth, even more roundness and form to that. But let's just add those two together. I'm not worrying if it's completely flush over the one underneath. We just want that pop of gold and that little bit of movement in the centre as well. Just sticking those two together just like so. And then we're going to bring back in our card, and this is going to be the finishing touch to our card, just to set it off nicely and draw the eye into our lovely shaker in the middle. So let's go in again with our dotty tape pen. These are the ones that are ideal for any of your intricate die cuts. They only add your glue where the die cut is, rather than giving you all those strings in between, which looks rather unsightly, shall we say. So let's just go in with our dotty tape pen. If you are wanting to use your tacky glue, just pop it in one of your fine tip glue applicators, and that will allow you to get into all of the detail on your die cuts. Let's have one on the left hand side, and then let's pop one on the right hand side, just like so, and that will finish off our card. How pretty is that? Look who's turning 1, birthday girl. If you've got alphabet dies, if you've got maybe a home printer, you could even be adding a little name onto there. It could have been for my little niece Lola May, who was 1 just a few weeks ago. So you could even have a photo in the inside as well. But showing how you can use these fabulous dies and stamps alongside some papers that you might have actually picked up in recent weeks as well. That being from our fabulous Nature's Garden honeysuckle collection. Quite an easy project to put together. I hope you guys at home have enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Of course, as always, if you do recreate this project, I would love to see what you make. Please do post on Facebook, on Instagram, tag me in Lily Fletcher Crafters Companion over on Facebook, or Lily Fletcher CC over on Instagram. I so love seeing what you make, and I love seeing your take on all of it. Bringing in those different papers, those different colourways, it changes that look and style entirely. Love that one.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, really, really fun, and a very, very accessible kit. And like Lily said, you know, really, really easy to achieve and easy to craft with a set like this too. For personalisation purposes, we always say definitely need like an alphabet set in your crafty armoury, and you absolutely need a numbers set as well. And I really like this. I think a lot of you commented again when we launched saying that they were really nice size these for all sorts of different projects, and to have all of those numbers there just gives you ultimate personalisation for whatever the occasion may be and for whatever the age may be, because we always know it's easy to go in, you know, and get a card with an 18 or a 21 or, you know, a big birthday like mine, 30.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was 21. Is it not 21?
Oh yeah, sorry, I mean 21. Yeah, my 30th in 9 years' time. But it's not always easy to get birthday cards for people who are say going to be like, you know, really old and be like 45.
Gosh,
or,
can you imagine?
I mean, cool, that is old.
That is old, isn't it?
Old.
Blimey me.
Or, you know, 67. But you have got the ability to do that with this kit, and how nice as well that you've got all those extra added dies in there to create your little cake stand, to create all of your candles as well. Those are the, where have they gone? There they are, the wicks. Those are the wicks, by the way, in case you didn't know. It might get on your wick if you look at those and then go, I don't know what they are. And then you've got all of your stamps in there as well. So all of your ordinals to create all of your different ages and all of your sentiments as well. Like, look who's turning 21. Ben. Happy birthday. Time to celebrate. Make a wish. On your birthday, you've got birthday boy, birthday girl, they're all there for you. Loads and loads of creativity and craftability with that. And then your pads, I mean, 2 absolutely beautiful pads. The Meadow Garden is just stunning, just rammed full of beautiful florals. Front and back as well. The back's a little bit more muted. But certainly loads of different layers of beautiful florals, tons and tons of gorgeous colours in there as well. And like I've mentioned, if you go for the showstopper deal, you get all of this included at a slightly better price than sort of checking it out individually. However, a lot of people, when we launched these the week before last, were getting the showstopper and then adding more of the papers in, because I do truly believe that these 2 pads are standout. And I know I say that every time we bring out a new paper pad, but I think the Meadow Garden with all of those beautiful wildflowers is phenomenal. And again, this beautiful scrapbook, I mean, just take time to savour this one, because the more you delve into it and look into it, the more you'll see all of the detail of the beautiful fonts, the musical manuscript, the butterflies. I love the sort of Scrabble tiles that you've got in here as well, but there's clocks and birdhouses and little butterflies and dragonflies. It's a really stunning pad, this one actually, and worth, if budget does allow, sticking in the showstopper and getting some more of these as individuals in your basket too. £48 or $60 for that full bundle. And don't forget, if you didn't grab these today, you can get these right now, and the show will remain for you on Facebook, on YouTube, so you can come back to it at a later date. Well, thank you so much, Lily, for a fantastic project, and thank you for all of the chit-chat as well. I feel like I've learnt a lot about crafting today, and also a lot about other random stuff I didn't need to know about as well.
I think we've learned a lot about the crew, let it be said, yeah. A lot that we can't forget. But apart from that, I've had a fantastic craft along, and I hope you guys at home have enjoyed it as much as we have. It's been fabulous.
Hopefully you'll come back next week and watch us when we're not that weird, really.
No, of course we're not.
Yes, lots to come next week. Loads of new launches coming your way as well. So we shall certainly look forward to all of that. Don't forget to keep checking the website for all of those great deals coming up. And to come back to us, don't forget we are now 3 shows a day as well. So even more crafty fun for you to enjoy. Massive thank you to Lily. Thank you to the team. And we'll see you again very soon here on Crafters TV. Bye for now.